Hey people, welcome to a brand new episode of the Rich Sports Report with your favorite host, Cozy Rich. I'm in this bitch, and I got a great sports report here for you guys today. A lot has happened over the last week. We have the NCAA Tournament. We have a lot of NFL news as well as some NBA news. So let's jump right into it and get started. And I want to start off with the NCAA Tournament because that's fresh on my mind. As I said last week, I'm going to be updating you on what's going on. And I actually predicted Kansas will win it all. And Kansas has predictably made it to the Sweet 16, which means there's 16 teams left. And they're joining Duke, Gonzaga, Arizona, Villanova, Purdue, and Texas Tech as the top-rated seeds. And honestly, any of them can go down at any moment. This NCAA tournament has kind of been crazy with crazy upsets. You have St. Peter's, the Cinderella team, beating Kentucky and then beating Murray State, and they're the number 15 seed. So they made it to the Sweet 16, and they're versing Purdue. Kansas is playing against Providence, the number 4 seed. So after this round is going to be the Elite Eight, and then after that is the Final Four in their national championship. So 3 more games before Kansas can make it to the finals. But I will say that Arizona is looking very, very, very good, as well as Gonzaga. They have Chet Holmgren. He's a freshman. He's about 7'1", about 180. But that man can shoot. That man can block. He'll get bullied in the paint. But he's doing his thing. He's going to be a top 5 draft pick next year in the draft. But like I said, this is a deep Sweet 16 field. We have a lot of 1, 2, and 3 seeds left. St. Peter's really being the only Cinderella team, and they're actually going to play coming up in the next round, Purdue, like I said. And that's going to be a crazy game because Purdue has a point guard in Jaden Ivey who can dunk on you, who can shoot on you, who can pass the ball, playmaker out the ass. To me, he's Russell Westbrook when Russell Westbrook was in college, but a better shooter. And that's just scary to see, so I can't wait to see him perform. But this is going to be a great round. The games start on Thursday and Friday of this week, and I hope you guys all have a chance to tune in. But as I said before, I expect the Jayhawks to make it out of this round and beat Providence, and we can go from there. But my bracket, by the way, completely busted. Completely busted. As I said, I had Kansas winning, but I didn't have Kentucky losing to St. Peter's. I didn't have Duke making it this far because they could barely make it out of the ACC championship. And then I honestly expected Villanova to be out by now. So my bracket has been busted. I already know I'm not winning that $1 million from ESPN. I know a lot of you guys aren't too because ESPN keeps telling me there's like 1 bracket left. Shout out to that person. But if you did create a bracket, let's sulk in our failures together because it happens every year. We can never predict this shit because we'll never know what's going to happen. But let's jump right into the NFL because a lot has happened over the last course of a week, and I want to touch base on it. And can we please start off by talking about Deshaun Watson? This man, Deshaun Watson, was traded from the Houston Texans to the Cleveland Browns after his lawsuits were dropped and immediately signed a 5-year, $230 million contract, fully guaranteed. I don't think y'all hearing me. This man is getting a football contract for 5 years and making $230 million over the course of that contract. And that's minus endorsements. So my man Deshaun Watson is about to be the highest paid player in the league. He's about to have the most guaranteed money of all time. And he hasn't played in over a year. Now, shout out my nigga Deshaun. He doing it. And it's kind of funny. Because the Texans traded Deshaun Watson for a couple draft picks. I'm pretty sure 3 first-round picks and then a third-round pick and a 6th-round pick. Meanwhile, the Browns still have Baker Mayfield on their team, who is their starting quarterback, and he has requested a trade as a result of them bringing on Deshaun. But the funny thing about Baker Mayfield, this man is how you say unwanted. He's the middle child. No one wants to fuck with him. He requested a trade to the Colts this weekend. Today is Tuesday. Yesterday, the Colts traded for Matt Ryan, the Falcons quarterback. So, Baker Mayfield has nowhere to go now. His first option is gone. His second option was gone, Browns and the Colts. And now no team wants him. I've been reading reports that teams are asking the Browns to attach a pick to get rid of Baker Mayfield, to take him onto their team. So I just let you know how terrible his trade value is. And it's crazy because just 2 years ago, he led the Browns to a second round playoff appearance. And that's the furthest they've ever been in the last like 20 years. So it's just hysterical to see what can happen in the course of a year and how the NFL can turn on you. I honestly think Baker Mayfield would be a great fit on the Jets, because I don't think their current quarterback in Zach Wilson, who will be going into the second year, is it. And Seattle, the Seahawks. They traded Russell Wilson, Sierra's man, for the ladies watching, and they didn't get any good quarterbacks back. They got Drew Lock, but Drew Lock isn't a starting caliber quarterback. So I think Seattle should go after Baker Mayfield and give him a shot to redeem himself and see what happens. But my guess is yours as to where he lands. I honestly don't know if he will get traded, just because they need to attach that draft pick. But stay up to Baker, because he went from talking a whole lot of shit and being a whole lot of commercials, progressive commercials, to being unwanted, and no one wanted his ass at all. So it is what it is. But I lastly want to touch on Devonta Adams of the Raiders. He got traded from the Packers to the Raiders, and he hit a lick too. This man signed a 4-year, $153 million contract. I'm pretty sure 125 was guaranteed, something like that. Yo, the money they're throwing out in the NFL this year is insane, and I'm happy that all my niggas are making that money, because usually in the NFL, contracts aren't guaranteed like this. Players usually get cut after a year or 2 years into their contracts. Teams come back to them asking them to renegotiate their contracts so they can take some money back. And I'm loving just the player empowerment that them getting all this money is doing. And I hope it continues into future years. But I want to jump into the NBA now. And I want to talk about my team in green, the team from Boston, the Boston Celtics. Ever since January, we've been the number one team in the NBA behind Phoenix as it pertains to wins. We're the number one team in defensive efficiency, defensive scoring, opponents' points per game. We're doing it all. And in the last 10 games, we've been 9-1. The Celtics are heating up at the perfect time. We have 10 games left until the playoffs. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have been playing like Kobe and Shaq if Shaq was a wing player. Like, they have been dominating. They have been taking over games. They have been a great 1-2 punch, and they've been complementing each other very nicely. They've had 3 30-point games each together 3 times in the last 10 games. So if that doesn't speak to the Celtics and what they're trying to do and what they're trying to become, I don't know what does. They're currently the number 4 seed. They're behind Milwaukee. They're behind Philadelphia, and they're behind Miami. And I think with 10 games left, we can get to the 3 seed, which I think would be a good seed for us. But like I said, Celtics are doing good. We're killing it on the defensive end. As long as we can maintain our consistency and efficiency on the offensive end, the sky's the limit, and I think we can make it out of the East. But I want to talk about Philadelphia as well, because James Harden has not been playing like James Harden as of late. And I think playoff Harden is starting to come out. And I just wanted to warn anyone who's a Philly fan, good luck, and we told you so. James Harden has been, whenever he plays a bad game, he essentially has been reaching out to the fans and telling them that he's got to be better. And for me personally, watching these games, he does not look aggressive at all. And these games are big games. One was versus Jokic and the Nuggets. The other was versus the Nets. Versus the Nets, he looked lackadaisical. He looked like he was completely out of it, like he didn't want to be there. Kyrie was locking him up. He was missing jumpers. He wasn't taking middies. He was just looking like ass. Versus the Nuggets, he was doing his thing, but he was deferring to Joel Embiid. He wasn't really aggressive like that either. I think he was being too passive. And for me, I think this is just a sign of what's going to come in the playoffs, because playoff Harden has not been someone you want on your team. Playoff Harden, as we have seen over the last 10 years, is not going to get it done. So I'm just saying to Philadelphia fans, the way this man keeps apologizing and saying he needs to be better with 10 games left into the playoffs, and he's not being better, I think y'all gave up too much for him. But that is neither here nor there. That's not my team. I just wanted to give y'all that heads up, and I wanted to give y'all my 2 cents on how James Harden has been performing. But we got to talk about the Nets as well, because that's the team that Harden got traded from. And the Nets, I don't know, man. I don't know how to rate this team. Kyrie can't play or Kyrie hasn't played because they've been playing at home, and he's not allowed to play in the state of New York because of COVID protocols. He's not vaccinated. But Kevin Durant has been averaging 35 plus points every time he steps on the fucking court. Last night he dropped 38 points, and that was versus the Utah Jazz, and they're a formidable opponent. So they're currently the 9 seed right now. They're going to make the play-in game, and I know they're going to win that play-in game. So they're going to verse either Milwaukee or Miami in the first round. And honestly, I wouldn't want to see Kyrie and Kevin Durant in the first round of any playoff series, regardless of who else is on their team. They got Seth Curry, who's been playing lights out. They got Nick Claxton, who knows his role. They got Bruce Brown, who plays hard as shit. They got Patty Mills, who's another sharpshooter. And that's before I even mention Ben Simmons, who we don't even know when he'll return. But if he returns in the playoffs, it's a scary sight with the Nets. So the Nets look great. I mean, they've been balling as of late. I'm scared to see them in the playoffs if I'm a basketball fan. But I just wanted to touch base on them as well. But lastly, to end the sports report, I wanted to talk about who the best team in the East is right now. Miami is number 1, like I've said. Milwaukee is number 2. Philadelphia is number 3. And the Celtics are 4. And the Bulls are 5. Out of those 5 teams, I personally think that the Celtics are the best team in the East. Why? Because in the year 2020, since January started, they've been 25-9 over their last 35 games. That is the second best record in the league, first in the East. They're number 1 in defensive efficiency, like I said earlier. Jason Tatum has reached superstar level. This man can score in his sleep. This man is a playmaker now. Jaylen Brown, same exact thing. They're playing with a new level of confidence. And I just want to mention the coaching has been magnificent. One thing I want to mention about Ime Udoka, which is beautiful to watch, he has gotten Jason Tatum to stop bitching at the refs. I remember when anytime Jason Tatum drove to the paint and didn't get a call, he would be talking to the refs for 5 seconds and be late getting back on defense, which would fuck us all up. Jason Tatum runs back on defense now. He doesn't complain. Neither does Jaylen Brown. So with all those combinations, as well as Marcus Smart being a great playmaker, Robert Williams doing what he does on the defensive end, catching lobs as well as rebounding, and Peyton motherfucking Pritchard being the lights out spot up shooter that he has been, sky's the limit for the Celtics. And I think we're the team to beat currently with all the momentum going into the playoffs. So I just wanted to end that and end the sports report with that. Like I said, there's been a lot going on in the world within the NFL, NBA, NCAA, and I'm going to keep updating you guys on what's going on. But as I said, that was the last topic. This has been a great episode. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Tune in next week for a great episode again of the Rich Sports Report. But with that being said, it's been your boy Cozy Rich, and I'm going to see y'all next week. Love.